Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I think the Ability Toolbox program is probably one of my most favorite programs. And I think that's because the possibilities are endless. I think when we think about tools, it can be kind of intimidating. So, you know, from handmade tools to store-bought to Amazon, um, I think Karen has done an amazing job getting these all in one place, and we're looking forward to you seeing those tools. My husband and I work really, really hard in giving AJ his independence as much as we can. Um, as everybody knows that, with changes in FOP, different things happen, and then you have to kind of start all over again and regain that independence. So we've kind of gathered some tools, and these are, AJ is 11 now, so we've been doing this for probably, I guess, 8.5 years. But these are the tools that have worked for us, that I can answer questions on, and that we have really, really found helpful. So when we go, so our bathroom, I think that is probably one of the most scariest places, um, and probably one of the most needed places. So we have failed and we have won some battles as far as the bathroom has gone. As you see, we have gotten AJ the kid's shower hat. So because he has no movement in his neck, he doesn't like when the water or soap is in his eyes. We found this on Amazon and we started using this, which has been a lifesaver. In the back, you'll see we bought those little hanging clips from the dollar store, and we actually found this extended long handle brush at our local dollar store also. So just a reminder that tools don't have to be expensive, that they can be found, at a dollar store or a Dollar General or your supermarket. So there are other things and places that they can be found. So we installed, I guess it's been 2 years, this Lotus Fidget toilet seat. AJ doesn't have the movement in his arms to be able to wipe himself anymore. And for a while, we wiped him and there was no issues. And then all of a sudden, he grew up and didn't want us in the bathroom with him anymore. And we were wondering very hard what we were going to do. So this toilet seat we had installed, we had an electrician come out, they put a plug in for us, and we ran an extra water line, and it's a heated seat, and it's able to wash and dry AJ. So we no longer need to help him. He does have a little step stool that helps him up on the seat, and we just installed the bar at the toilet seat level to help him get off. I have seen where people have tied rope to those bars and are able to actually lift themselves up. And we installed the same bars in our shower. We have tried, we were very lucky to receive an amazing shower chair, and AJ wanted no parts of the shower chair at all. So we put a special covering at the bottom of the shower so he can't slip, and then have recently installed 2 additional bars just to hold on to if he needs it. So moving on to our special tools, we also buy AJ some adaptive clothing. Not all of his clothing is adaptive, but some of it. This is from Tommy Hilfiger's adaptive clothing line. Looks like a regular shirt, but when you open it, you can actually see the buttons have magnets in it. So there's no buttoning. He doesn't have to do that. And it actually just literally with the magnet snaps right on. We were also having a major issue with the winter jacket. Because AJ's arms don't move back, we weren't sure how we were getting a winter coat on. I know a lot of females in the group use a poncho, but AJ did not want to wear a poncho. So what we did was we took his normal winter jacket, had the hood removed, and then literally cut the jacket in half and had a zipper put on the back. So when we put that jacket on AJ, we're actually putting it on with his zipper in the front that's zipped up and just kind of sliding it on up to him and then zipping it in his back. So then he doesn't have to worry about trying to bend his arms backwards. We found a local seamstress. I think she charges us like $13.50 a zipper, and it was an easy adaptive way for us to be able to keep him warm and keep a coat on. AJ also wears Billy adaptive shoes, and they can be found on Amazon or on the Billy's website. They've been amazing. Like most FOPers, AJ's ankles don't move. It's hard to get sneakers on and off. So what we do is we put AJ in that sneaker and kind of zip around, and they're already tied, which has been absolutely amazing. They are sold in wide because I know in our community that's another issue, but they've been amazing. We worked really hard with using a pick-me stick and a dressing stick. I will be absolutely honest, it's hard work. There's frustration. And I think I think sometimes that the frustration, when you think back, the independence that he gained by being able to dress himself has been huge. So we have a quick video of AJ using his dressing stick to remove his shirt. We'll play that for you now.
What are you doing, AJ?
I'm taking my soda.
Good job.
And as you can see in that video, he's just so proud of himself. And I think that's where, especially in pediatrics, the independence is huge, especially mentally. So Karen had come up with, I had called Karen and said, AJ wants to brush his hair on his own. What do you think? And she sent me these pieces to PVC pipe, and we figured out what would work for AJ. We put it together, and he's able to brush his hair on his own now. I think AJ's 11. The older he's getting, the fancier he says he wants to look. So, and we have a quick video of him brushing his hair for all of you.
And I just quickly grab my back. And I put it back in.
So I know one of the major things that we have is, in our community, we talk about school. What type of resources can be used at school, and what do we need? So we have really worked hard with our school system and tried to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So right now what we're using is, in the first picture, you'll see it's a little stick, and it's AJ's pick-me stick. And that's basically because he can't raise his hands for anybody to pick him. So he was frustrated and saying, no one's calling on me in my classroom. So we found this little kind of fingers up, and here he is using it, saying basically pick him to answer the question at school. We were able to get AJ a new desk at school. It is actually slanted, and with a new desk, there's no room to put your tools. So we came up with, the second picture shows we zip tied some baskets on so he's able to reach his accessories that he needs, his pens and his pencils. In the third picture, that's AJ's one-on-one aide, Mrs. DeWalt. She's been with AJ for 8 years, and it's absolutely been amazing. And you'll see that when AJ, prior to going to middle school, had this black mobile desk that was carried from classroom to classroom with an additional slant board. Since then, AJ, this year, he's gone to middle school, and things have kind of changed a little bit. We kept the desk. We gained a swivel chair because AJ had explained to us that even though he's facing the classroom, if somebody's speaking at the front of the classroom and moving back and forth and speaking, he couldn't move to see them. So we went with the swivel chair. It does lock, so he can't kind of scoot around or fall. And we moved to an activity chair that you'll see in the third picture. And that activity chair is actually used in our lunchroom. Our lunchroom in school is made up of basically picnic style tables, and AJ can't get in or out of that. So what we did was we got this, it's a wombat activity chair, and that is on the end. And we picked a low traffic area and got AJ stationed with some of his friends at that picnic table, and AJ sits at the end. We had also never thought about an evacuation plan in school, that if there's an emergency, what do you do? And we created that this year for the middle school. And in creating that, we got a wheelchair for the evacuation plan, that if he's not able to move quickly and there's a fire or there's something else happening and he needs to get out, this is actually positioned on a hook outside of his classroom that the teacher or the one-on-one aide can grab, bring down, open, and get him out as quickly as possible. We also ran into an issue at our school, which is shocking, but our school is not handicap accessible at all. So the 5th and 6th grade is actually up 3 flights of stairs. So we had to have them move a 5th grade classroom to the 1st floor. But even with that, there are still these steps that you see here in this picture that go from the main level down these 5 steps. So electric lift for the stairs was actually put in August, and AJ uses that. When it folds down, there's actually room for a wheelchair, which he does not use at this time, but there's also room, there's like a seat that folds down, he sits there and that brings him down. With the help of other FOP moms, we've been lucky enough to create basically a reference book for school. And what's in that reference book is kind of all about AJ and all about FOP. And we type it per the grade level, and we include recent pictures, and we talk about everybody being a team. And when you kind of look back at that, we give it to anybody who comes in contact with AJ, the main office, the nurse's office, everybody who, we can kind of get in front of, we do give a speech to the class, my husband and I, every year before school starts, especially with this year, AJ went into middle school. So our middle school is 5th through 8th grade, and we've never really run into them, these teachers. They're all new to us. So we made about 40 copies of the reference book. I'm also part of another group for disabled children in New Jersey, and one of the moms in a recent meeting had said, have you thought about doing a one-pager? Instead of giving everybody the resource book, have you thought about just giving the highlights of AJ? So this year we created this kind of all about AJ resume. And it gives his strengths, his weaknesses, what he likes, what he doesn't like, what are his favorite things, and what works for him and what doesn't work for him. AJ likes to know what's happening. He likes to know the schedule ahead of time. So this kind of let everybody know, and it was kind of a quick read. And we got an overwhelming response about this. I like to say not everything is, about school and home and dressing, but there are amazing resources out there. And AJ was gifted a bicycle through our children's hospital. And in the beginning, he absolutely loved it. He was able to ride. He thought it was phenomenal. He did have a little fall on our bike, and he has refused to get back on it since. So we always say, being safe, being careful. I will say we were very honored to have gifted this bike to a local children's hospital inpatient rehab recently. So somebody else could get to use this. AJ loves sports. He was missing out on not participating. We found Miracle League Baseball, which is based in the United States, in numerous states. The field is usually played on an adaptive field. Everybody has a one-on-one kind of person with them. Everybody hits the ball. There's no score kept. Everybody gets to run the bases, and it was great. And it worked for a few years for us. Then AJ actually wanted to become more competitive, and we really weren't sure how that would happen. And we actually found sled hockey, which I know some other kids in our community have played. And it's a disabled hockey league. The kids play in sleds. There are all different degrees of disabilities, brittle bone syndrome, FOP, cerebral palsy, and so many more. It's been an absolute honor to watch AJ play and to be part of this team. It gives him that competitiveness that I think he was looking for, but to be with other kids just like him. So you can see in this picture, this is where the kids are on the sleds. Their sticks are half. The bottoms of the sticks actually have like metal spokes. AJ actually has he will never have that upper arm movement that the other kids have. So he actually has a pusher in the back. My husband actually pushes AJ throughout the game, and it's been absolutely amazing. And I truly believe finding something like this has changed AJ's world and given him kind of more of a place of belonging. AJ also does aquatic therapy, just kind of learning balance and more importantly, breathing. We focus really hard on working on AJ's chest and lung capacity. We in here you'll see we do a resistant pull. It's warm. He goes in the front, pushes the little noodle, blue noodle. He actually can blow in there and blow water out. It's been very, very good. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we haven't been able to go back. They're only taking the worst cases in the pool at the moment. We're hoping maybe within the next few months that we can get back. But I mean, if anybody moving forward has questions, I don't know adult tools, and that's what Laurent and Emma will speak about. But pediatrics has kind of been our thing, and we're proud to have been a part of these different things and to kind of bring them forward. There's other options and other opportunities. I don't want people to ever think that their kids can't be part of something or part of something more. There is so much more out there, and Karen can help you with that, or myself. And thank you.
Thank you, Karen. And I'm glad to be here today to share some of the tools that I have found useful in my life. And so I'm going to start and focus on the bathroom that I have in my house. Soon after I was diagnosed, like Karen said, I started to use a wheelchair. And then when I was in high school, I could no longer walk upstairs, and our only bathroom had been upstairs. So we did a home modification and added a bedroom and bathroom downstairs. And so we kind of built a bathroom to what we thought might fit my needs for the future. So one of the things I have is a walk-in shower, which you'll see pictures of in a minute, but I have a handheld shower head. And this is the actual shower head I have. I got it off of Amazon. We got a new one like this earlier this year because the one that we had before was about like 10 years old, so it was starting to get a little funky. And so we had actually got the plumbers to come and try to get us a new shower head, and the one that they had, I ended up not liking because I wanted a shower head that had certain functions. So I like higher pressure and also to have multiple different settings. So this shower head that I found on Amazon has like 5 or 6 different settings where there's like a broad spray, kind of a lighter spray, a more focused, like condensed spray. And so I can use those to clean different areas of my body and to get into certain areas. And so it's hard to find shower heads sometimes because so many of the shower heads, if you go to like Home Depot or some of the stores to look at, the fad right now is to get these like large, heavy, kind of chunky handheld shower heads, which don't work for someone like me who I need to be able to lift it and move it around. And so finding this one was super helpful. And then this is a picture of my roll-in shower. So as you can see, there's 1-inch unglazed tile on the floor, and there's actually, I think they're 2-inch unglazed tiles that are the same color that are in the rest of the bathroom. And so there's no step to get in the shower. I can just completely roll in. And so when I'm in my home, I use an office chair. And so when we were trying to figure out a chair for me to use in the shower, it was hard because so many of the shower chairs that you buy that are meant to be shower chairs aren't as sturdy and stable because they only have 4 wheels sometimes. And when in the shower, it has a slope towards the drain in the center, so it's not a flat surface. So it can get a little unwieldy, and I don't want to tip and fall in the shower. And so I'm used to sitting in an office chair. So we found it's just a regular old office chair that has a mesh seat and back. So the water runs out of it, and it doesn't, we do have to make sure to tip it up to get the water to run out of some of the surfaces that it collects in, but it dries out relatively easily. And so it has arms that can go up and down and angle in and out, so I can move those as I need to. We also have the bars in the shower. I don't use those as much, but they are nice to have in case. And we actually, when we put in the shower, we put stuff in the walls so that there was areas that if I needed to put a bar in later, there would be like the anchor points to put that. You can see the handheld shower head, and we have a bar that it can slide up and down, so we can put it on there and leave it there for me to wash my hair. And then when I'm ready to rinse off my body, we can take that shower head off and I can move it around. I have a wooden stool that I use to put my feet up to help relieve pressure on my legs and to just be more comfortable. And this is another view of my bathroom, so you can see the toilet there, and then you can kind of see into the shower. You can see my sink and countertop, which I'll have another picture of in a minute. But I kind of wanted to focus on the window, which you might think, oh, it's just a window. But it's actually a window that's lower than most normal windows, so I can see out of it. That also means I can reach the thing to open the window. So if I just had a shower and it is humid and wet in there, I can open the window to help air it out, which I don't want the floor to be wet and slippery. So that can be really helpful. And it's also nice to just be able to see out the window. It looks out into kind of the woods, and we can see we have deer go by, or I can see if people are coming to our house. And so it's nice to just be able to look out the window sometimes. And we actually have lowered windows in throughout our house, in my bedroom and in other areas, so that I can see out to see what's going on. And we have a door that has quite a large window, so I can see if people are coming up to the door rather than just seeing when they're directly in front of the door. And so a few more things in the shower. This is a foot scrubber that I use. So it can help me, sometimes my feet get itchy, or I just want to be able to scrub them, and I don't want someone to have to bend over and reach down to scrub my feet. And it's hard for me to also lift them up for someone to scrub. So this can be super helpful to just kind of gently scrub my feet. And I think it is also helpful for circulation, having that kind of stimulation of the feet can help with circulation. I also use a loofah on a stick like Christy had showed. And I found those on Amazon. I found them at Target. I prefer the ones with the plastic handles just because they're easier and cleaner to use. And I also have gotten a silicone back scrubber that I can use in similar ways, or if I need a little bit of a different scrub brush. I also have used silicone hair and scalp scrubbers. I have to have someone help me wash my hair, but they can use this to help, and I think it helps. I have had some dandruff, and so this can help kind of break it up without them having to really work their fingers in. And it also just itches your head. It actually feels really nice. And then I also use toothbrushes. So these are just plain old regular toothbrushes. You can get child ones that are smaller, and you can also get soft ones. And I use these to get into hard to reach areas. So like to help clean my armpits. I can't lift my arms, so it's hard to get a washcloth or like one of those scrub brushes in, but I can use a toothbrush, or places like around my neck or behind my ears, and I can reach it myself. So this can be really helpful for things like that. Sometimes you can find these tools and use them for reasons that they're not meant to be used, but they work really well and they're easy to get. And then this is a view of my sink and countertop area. It's a little messy, but that's because I like to have as much as I can within my reach, which isn't a very large area. So I tend to pile stuff around so that I can reach it. And so my countertop is a Korean countertop. So we were able to put this at the height that I wanted, which when I'm sitting in the office chairs that I sit in, there's a certain height that I like that's comfortable for me. And so I needed to be able to roll up to this and get my legs under the sink, but still be able to reach my arms up over the countertop and into the sink. And then we have this faucet that we put, and it's kind of in a funky place. When we were talking with the people who built this, we had to be very specific on where we wanted it to be to make sure, because sometimes people don't understand. But just explaining that this, putting a faucet in this location makes it so I can reach my hands under and reach the water, but I can also control the faucet because it's hard to see, but it's one of those like lever faucets that you pull, back to make the water pressure higher and then move it side to side to make it warm or cold. And so I can control that. And it's also a little tricky because the faucet does not go over the drain in the sink. You can see that the drain is in kind of the typical place, the back center. So you just have to be careful that, it could splash a little more because the faucet doesn't go directly over the drain. You can also see the mirror a little in the second picture that is lowered so that I can be able to see myself in the mirror, which is super helpful. And you can also see that the pipes are in a little bit of a different place than usual because I need to be able to get my legs in under and not have the pipes go down from the sink. So they kind of had to go back and then away from the sink so that I had that leg room. And you also have to be careful with the pipes because they can get hot if you're using hot water. So to have those away from my legs is important. And then a few other things that I have on the countertop. So I use an electric toothbrush to brush my teeth. And I found that the ones with the small round heads are super useful because I can actually get those in and around all of my teeth relatively easily. And actually my dentist is surprised how well I can clean the very back of my mouth because the head is so small, I can move it around and get it right into the back of my teeth, which is super helpful. Sometimes a lot of the toothbrushes have the more oval shaped heads, and I feel like I would have a hard time with that. So sometimes it's thinking about those little details, but those details can make a huge difference. And then to wash my face, I use a Clarisonic brush, which is what's on the far left. I'm not able to reach my face to use a washcloth, but I can reach my face enough to use a brush like that. Unfortunately, they don't make Clarisonic brushes anymore, but there's other types of facial brushes that you can use. And so I'm able to get that wet in the sink and put some soap on it and wash my face and then rinse it and wash my face again. And so I'm able to wash my face all by myself. If I'm not at the sink and don't have access to water, like if I'm traveling or in a place that I don't have my sink that I can reach, I can use face wipes, and then I have silicone tip tongs that I can kind of wrap the face wipe around and use that to reach my face and clean my face. Some other bathroom stuff. So I have a long-handled brush, kind of similar to what Christy was talking about with AJ, but the one I found it was just on Amazon, and I'm able to use that to brush my hair. I have dry lips, and I like to put Aquaphor on my lips, but it's hard for me to reach my lips with my finger and with the pad of my finger to put them on, to put the Aquaphor on. So I was trying to brainstorm, how can I do this in a way that's clean, but also gets the Aquaphor on my lips? And so I went on Amazon and I found these silicone makeup brushes. And so I use the one in the middle, and I can put a little bit of Aquaphor on that and then put that on my lips. I could also use a cotton swab that has a longer stick that's next to it, but then you have to throw that out every time. What's nice with the silicone one is I can wash it when I'm done, and then it's clean for the next time. And you could also use that for many other things. That's just the use that I have found for it. And then I also have a toilet paper holder, similar to the one on the far right. And it's super helpful because you can slide the toilet paper on and off, but you can move it around. So I can move it so it's close so I can reach it to get the toilet paper off. But then you can also move it out of the way so it's out of the way when I transfer on and off the toilet. Now I'm going to talk about just some other random items that I use around the house. So like Christy was talking about the coat with AJ, I have found this, I think it's called an angel wrap on Amazon. And so it's super soft and warm, and I tend to almost never wear a coat. Even when I go outside in the wintertime and live in Maine, I hate coats. But this is something that's helpful for if I'm outside for an extended period of time, waiting in a line or something like that. Someone can just throw this on me easily, and it's super warm, and then take it off relatively easily. And then similar to that, when I was watching the skin webinar that was a couple months ago, they were talking about this UV shawl, and so I'm super sensitive to sun. I've got light skin. I have take medication that makes it so I'm sensitive to the sun, and I had a bad sunburn this year. And so I was trying to find a way. I hate using sunscreen because it's hard for me to put on. Plus, I just don't like the oiliness of it. So I found the sun shawl, and I'm going to try that next year because I don't have to put it on like a shawl, but even if I can just use it to cover up my arms or my legs and prevent them from getting as much sun, that'll be super helpful. I use a snoozle, which is what is on the right side of this, the left side of the screen. So when I go to hotels, sometimes it's hard for me to get in and out of beds because the beds can be higher or lower or just softer, and it's hard for me to get in the correct position and feel safe, like I'm not going to fall out of bed. So the snoozle, it's kind of like a tube made of silk fabric, so it's very slippery and slides across the bed. So once you're on the bed and on top of the snoozle, it's easier for you to reposition in bed. So I found that can be super helpful. And then I've also tried different cell phone holders for my wheelchair. So I have found several that are bike or motorcycle cell phone mounts. And I found these on Amazon. And they can attach to different areas, like the armrest of my wheelchair. And they're actually pretty sturdy because when you think about it, if someone is using it on a bike or motorcycle, they don't want their phone to fall out of it, like I don't. And when they're on a bike or motorcycle, they could be going fast and over large bumps. So the phone fits in there pretty snug, which is important because I don't want the phone to fall out and then me run over it and ruin my cell phone. A couple other things. So I have a robot vacuum cleaner that I can use. We have a yellow lab, and so we have lots of dog hair. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. And so it's helpful for me to be able to vacuum and get rid of that dog hair that can make the floor slippery. And it's also nice to just keep the floor clean. I also use these clip-on mirrors. I use them at work, and I also use them at home. I'm not able to, if someone comes into a doorway behind me, I can't turn around and look and see who it is. Sometimes at work, someone will come and stand in the doorway and just start talking, and I don't know who it is. And so these can be super helpful to be able to see what's going on around you. This is me at work before COVID. And so a couple things I use at work. When I'm on a desktop, I use this rollerball mouse. I'm not able to reach to the side to have a typical computer mouse. So the rollerball mouse is actually right in front of the keyboard. You can see the like black oblong thing with the gray buttons. And so that's super helpful for me to use the computer at work. And then when I'm at home and on a laptop, I use the laptop stand that you can see on the bottom. And that's helpful because it raises the laptop and angles it so that I can reach the mouse, but also the keyboard. And then, as Karen said, I also make cards and like to do other arts and crafts. So I use a rolling table. I have multiple of them, and it's nice to be able to put the stuff on them and kind of spread out, and then be able to move it around a little, move it out of the way if I'm taking a break, or things like that. And here are some examples of my cards. I also have a rolling table like this beside my bed that I can put my cell phone and a clock and my glasses and things on, and so I can move that up to my bed so I can reach it while I'm in bed, but then when I'm ready to get up, I can move it out of the way so it's not in the way. And thank you very much, and I look forward to questions.
Bonjour, donc je m'appelle Laurent, j'ai 56 ans, je vis à Nantes, en France, et je suis atteint de la fibrodysplasie ossifiante progressive depuis l'âge de 8 ans. Cela fait maintenant 6 ans que je suis en fauteuil roulant électrique. Je n'ai plus du tout d'autonomie au niveau de mes membres, donc je suis constamment aidé dans mon quotidien à l'aide d'auxiliaires de vie qui viennent donc pour les soins et donc pour m'aider dans la vie de tous les jours. Dans mon quotidien, donc là, j'ai montré tout à l'heure, donc je dirais comment je prépare.
Ça va être très très bon.
Opération déshabillage du vêtement du haut quand je suis au fauteuil.
De quoi?
Pour ce faire, j'utilise des vêtements légèrement adaptés qui s'ouvrent sous la hanche.
Je suis en train de faire juste parce que ça, il y avait trop. Je faisais l'assemblage.
C'est quoi?
Je faisais un assemblage.
Un quoi?
Un assemblage.
Un assemblage?
C'était pas comme ça.
On libère la manche gauche. Hop. Voilà. Maintenant, je vais vous montrer comment j'utilise des commandes vocales à la maison pour mon quotidien, notamment pour les volets roulants. Par exemple, Echo, ferme le volet 4. Echo, ouvre le volet 4. Et je peux aussi, par exemple, commander ma lampe également. Et donc là, j'indique uniquement Echo, allume la chambre. Et pour éteindre, je fais écho, éteins la chambre. Donc maintenant, je vais vous présenter comment j'utilise l'ordinateur en quotidien. J'utilise donc pour ce faire un clavier sans fil, où j'utilise le pavé tactile avec ma droite et le clic gauche qui se trouve là. Côté ordinateur, quand j'ai branché donc sur la télé qui se trouve juste devant moi. Et donc je peux piloter comme ça l'ordinateur. Je me sers également pour écrire, notamment des messages, du pavé numérique virtuel qui me permet, comme tu de pouvoir écrire ce que je veux et faire mes recherches éventuelles également. Donc c'est ainsi que j'utilise l'ordinateur dans mon quotidien. Là je vous montre également au niveau des doigts comment je fais de mon côté. Donc oui, donc là j'ai mon doigt qui glisse sur le tactile qui me sert de souris. Et donc je peux cliquer sur ce dont j'ai besoin à l'écran. Et je valide avec la main gauche en appuyant sur le bouton jaune. Voilà. Donc maintenant, je vais vous montrer comment je fais pour voir quand je suis tout seul, notamment les après-midi. Donc pour ce faire, hop, un peu complexe, mais j'y arrive. Je prends donc ma pince de prévention. Ensuite, je récupère le tuyau qui est branché donc sur une bouteille d'eau. Je repose le tout sur la table. Et voilà, comme ça, j'ai pu boire un petit peu.
mal.
Une fois, tu peux recommencer tout ce que tu veux après, t'inquiète pas. Alors.
So I think we actually probably started earlier before AJ needed tools. We were told in the beginning that if we treat AJ like he's disabled, he will be, and if we treat him that he's capable of the world, he will be. And we started doing like fun things with tools. You know, in the fun zone, Karen and Lexi do a lot of these fun games with pick me up stick and a grabber and just different things. And we started that way. So tools weren't scary for him and it was almost fun. And then little by little, as things started to change, almost before he wasn't able to do it, we started working on them. Like, okay, I'm losing more movement and I can't get my shirt on or off. So let's start using this. And then it wasn't more of a chore. It was more that he was learning. We didn't have to practice all the time, and then he got it. So he was kind of ready when he needed it. So I would say we started probably around 5 or 6, I would say.
Sure, I can start. So I have quite a bit of opening in my jaw, but not completely. So I am able to use, like I said, the toothbrush and get in and around all of my teeth. Um, that's really the only thing I do for oral health right now. I go to the dentist every 3 or 4 months and get a teeth cleaning, and so they're able to kind of pay attention to how, if there were areas that I'm not able to reach anymore, they would be able to help me figure out, where those areas are and how I could try to get those cleaner. But right now I'm able to use a toothbrush and get my teeth mostly clean that way.
I think for AJ, we use the same toothbrush Emma uses, a power toothbrush. It has the smaller head. We've realized that works better. AJ lost some movement in his jaw, so we have to work harder for those areas. That's Alexis reminding me. We use a special cup. It has this cutout in it. So we put his mouthwash in there. We use a medicated mouthwash. And then when he goes to use it, it fits over his nose. So he can get it back so he doesn't have to move his head. So we use that. We actually use these cups for the bathroom and every day if he's not using something with a straw. And I don't know if I said this, but a medicated, we use an FOP dentist recommended a medicated toothpaste and mouthwash for kids just to help.
So I used the same kind of shower chair when I was in college. In the different dorm rooms I had a roll-in shower, so I was able to use that there. We would actually take it back and forth. So I would use it when I was home for the weekend or the summer and then take it to college. I went to college like 4 hours away. So we would load it in the back of the van with all of my other books and stuff and take it back and forth. In the bathrooms that I had in college, I wasn't able to use a sink. It wasn't an adapted sink, so I would have to have someone help me wash my face, or like I would brush my teeth and then spit into a paper cup because I wasn't able to reach the sink. And then for like schoolwork, I would have either special desks. Like I said, I was in medical biology, so I would have labs. So I would have to get special tables that had like the certain type of top that was like fireproof and chemical proof and all that stuff. So I would work with the disability services people to get a table that would work for me and to put it in the lab areas so I was able to access it. And then like if we had lab tests, sometimes I would do the tests by myself with the professor because he would have to bring stuff to my table instead of me going to all the different stations like everyone else did. And then I also had, like, I would look at my classrooms ahead of time to see where it would be best for me to sit so that I could get to my seat easily and also see the chalkboard or whatever type of presentation that they were using.